All right, welcome back to another episode of the High Performance Podcast. You're here with the boys. And what's our first talking point? Sorry, I just came on. I'm fresh off a 2-hour roundtable with Jonathan Warren, Jeffrey Verity Schofield, Alberto Nunez, Atlas Power Shrugged, and then myself of all people. We're on a bit of it wasn't a full-blown hypertrophy roundtable, but mostly sort of centered around that just due to the crowd. And yeah, it was a good chat. We sort of had a discussion about how we feel about the low volume trend. Not just low volume, like low volume and low reps for hypertrophy. Like I guess the science-based cliche sort of had some commentary on that. So that was good to go around on that. Then we talked about just our perspectives on the management of acute versus chronic injuries. And then final topic was, is there anything that we do that isn't really supported by science directly that we sort of wanted to share? So some really good topics in there and some good perspectives for, like I said, it was a crowd of people where I agree with most of the things that they sort of talk about and the ideas that they push through their content. But it was also good that it wasn't a full-blown circle jerk the whole time. Because I think that I've talked about that before, that it's really hard to find that sweet spot. Like, you know, I've called our podcast the echo chamber before. We just get guests on, we glaze them. Like, we often think alike from the get-go. And like, yes, we do learn from them a lot, but like a lot of the time it is, I know this person's work and I want to share it with my following more so than anything. And a lot of the questioning and interviewing style is centered around that. So it does become quite a glaze fest and an echo chamber. But then by the other side of it, it's like a lot of the debates, you know, like they're not that productive a lot of the time. It's just people like straw manning each other because they hate each other's on some sort of personal level. So like I said, it's hard to find the sweet spots between just dysfunctional debates where everyone ends up agreeing to disagree and then a complete glaze fest. So I thought Jonathan Warren did a really, really good job of managing that whole conversation. I think that'll probably be out by the time this podcast drops, it's probably going to be pretty imminent out on YouTube. So check out Jonathan Warren's channel. Had a great chat with him before. He's always getting high quality guests on and fucking bit of a weird guy. Like, I don't mind saying that, but fuck, he makes me laugh from time to time. Like, he has a sense of humor on him, I'll tell you that.
Sick. Should we get him on the pod?
Yeah, we should. He loves he's a big compression expansion guy. He loves that shit. We could have a good chat down the transverse plane rabbit hole with the IRs and the ERs. I reckon everyone would enjoy that.
How did you and Atlas conduct with each other in the same room, online room?
It was good. Like, I was sort of talking to Harvey before. Yeah, so I was following him on the round table and I just made an effort to just like where he made good points to sort of like echo that and be like, you know, following on from the point that Atlas made. And yeah, we agree on a lot of stuff. And like I said, I was just mentioning to Harvey before, like I really regret losing my sense of humor in the Atlas beef. Like I got back to it pretty quickly and like there were definitely some funny times in there, but I wish I maintained my sense of humor throughout the majority of that Atlas beef. I mean, like I said, I was going through an intense breakup at the time, so mental health wasn't the best, but if I can take anything into future conflict in the fitness industry, it'd just be to, you know, it's always pretty funny at the end of the day, even when you're in it, and just to maintain that perspective. Talking about lifting weights, like even when it gets personal, it's just like fucking whatever, you know?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. And isn't it so funny being like a year, I think you're saying it was a year down the track and being like, wow.
Pretty well.
That was that was something I was doing a year ago, you know, just being like, why did I do that? Or like, I don't know. I think
because I can explain why I did it, because for some reason I had this like mental breakdown where I thought his opinion on things mattered to me. And like in some way it does, because it's like, no, it's in my comment section. Oh my God, people are seeing it and thinking about it, but just being like, fuck, Angus, take some deep breaths. It's all good. I mean, there were people who would tell me to do that. And I was like, no, this is important and I'm angry. But like I said, it was probably more going through a breakup. But great, I'll tell you what, if Atlas wasn't beefing with me, maybe I would have been like more emotional about the breakup. Like maybe it was just like an outlet, you know what I mean? So good times.
Maybe, man. Maybe.
Here's another layer to it, okay? I'd rather be beefing with a fitness content creator than fucking crying over a broken up relationship. So like in that sense, like still got a really positive net outcome. And there are a decent enough amount of people that were entertained by fucking me and Atlas yelling at each other about whether or not you need barefoot shoes with fucking Blennis in the middle. Like, funny moments.
It got you the most views on your YouTube channel. So at the end of the day, it was worth it.
I don't. That's a bad thing.
Oh,
I don't know. Like point well taken by you, but yeah, like as in if the goal is to make content, hey, we made some content. But I gotta have a look at the amount of views we got on that because I think some of my other videos might be like getting close to cracking it.
I think it's like 4.7K, 5K.
Oh, fuck me. I think my most viewed other one is sort of just like a little bit under 3K. All right, I'll throw out some fucking clickbait nonsense on YouTube just to get the job done. Not actually, but like, we'll work our way there ethically. A nice AI thumbnail of like roided up Gus or something.
Yeah, get it all going. Do we want to do any more future debates? Do you think that'll be a good idea in a more when we're all in a bit more of a emotionally sound place?
Yeah. I wanted, the WEC guy. I stitched one of his reels and he was sort of talking about, it's like, if you want to be an athlete, can't just fucking move in a straight line. You got to like coil and swing your weights and stuff like that. I'm like, nah, just fucking smash weights and like actually run, or coil if you want, but like it is just swinging shit around. It's just a different form of S&C at the end of the day. Like
I'd love to get the
S&C, we're just looking to build the general qualities. But so he did a response reel. He didn't make any point. He was just like, well, yeah, look at me swinging shit around like a beast. And I was like, yeah, I said you're a beast at swinging shit around. Show me your fucking 40-yard dash, cunt. Like that was the whole thing that you were saying, like exercising like this WEC style makes you a freak athlete. I'm like, show me you doing something other than he just doubled down on the swinging shit around. And I messaged him. I was like, hey, mate, I was like, I should have tagged you when I called you out. I just didn't expect to have a productive conversation. I mean, I was right about that. Because it's just, anyway, whatever. Then I was like, I'm happy to have you on my podcast, try to have a good faith debate, give you a chance to express yourself to my followers, maybe some things you thought I got wrong. We could have some productive back and forth. But then he was like, nah. I was like, fair play. You don't owe me your time.
We should get that, the secret, that secret of athleticism guy.
But even that, I'm just going to be like, you're a shit cunt and an idiot. Like, I don't have much to actually, because he would just be like, no, fascia, it's 22 kilos of tissue. I'll be like, I know, I don't give a fuck. It's along for the ride. So it will just be us flaming each other in a way that is not productive. But like I said, I think there are some people, we just got to get people in the sweet spot where they're not too off the deep end. Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't mind having Seidman on. I don't know why that popped into my head, but just more for like, you don't get to hear the guy talk in long form that often. So I feel like that's always interesting. Anytime you get Joel Seidman talking for longer than 60 seconds, usually says some interesting things.
And we're going to try not to Q1 and flat him. Just really come at it with open arms.
That was brutal. Yeah. If you want to see Joel Seidman getting absolutely smacked in an online debate, look up rugby strength coach Joel Seidman. When Joel Seidman was talking about his sprinting challenge. There's so many people that are put onto that vid who just don't know it exists. I'm like, nah, it is fucking cinema.
Vernon Griffith as well.
Someone else who I thought to get on, Vernon Griffith and Stronger by Science. What's his name?
Max
Strong by Science.
Schmarzo.
Whichever one is not the Greg Knuckles one. Max Schmarzo. Yeah, but then, so have you seen it's like the Crooked Man on Instagram? And this isn't for a debate. There's just some lad on Instagram who's like hypertrophied his right trap. And I've seen this guy's page a number of times, but I don't know his story. But it seems like he emerged as a natural response to looks maxing culture. So he hypertrophied the fuck out of his right trap. And he's been, how the looks maxing coaches do their live streams where they'll have a live caller on and for their audience trying to help them looks max. Yeah. He fucking broke this looks maxing guy because the looks maxing guy was like, oh, you've got to You got to train your other sides, get rid of your imbalances to be more aesthetic. And he was just like, no, I just want this big right trap. And the look maxing guy just like couldn't work it out. He was like, I don't understand. He was like, the muscular imbalance is going to lead to postural asymmetries. And it's just like, yes, the crooked man knows this. He understands this. And so I don't have that many questions. I just want to chat to the guy for 15 minutes and sort of see like, where did this come from? I want to see a starting pick as well. But he's added a new thread into it. So he's not just training, is it his right trap or I swear it's his left trap. But now he's also training one of his glutes. And this is an interesting thing. Maybe we get the fascia guy on for this, because if he's doing the opposite glute, is there a bit of a fascial sling going on? Is there a bit of a functional? Or is he doing ipsilateral Adarian bar? Fuck, this is a joke that's going to land with like 5 people, but I'm assuming it's fucking hitting. So you're welcome, lads. Anyone who doesn't understand that reference, just move on with your life. But yeah, so curious to see whether he went, full fascial sling or ipsilateral with the development of his muscular imbalances, but seems like a funny guy.
I think there's another guy that does is just one calf as well. It's someone completely different.
Would love to see that. I'm pretty sure Eric Helms did an experiment on one calf as well, where he locked it into a stretch position chronically and experienced some hypertrophy. I can't remember how long he did it for, but I'm pretty sure he got his calf to grow in a measurable way. One other little update from Instagram and interesting people I've seen scrolling around, doing well on the algorithm. Have you seen the Aussie bloke who's just fighting his followers? They're not high quality fights, but it's sort of just like, that's what I was about to say. He fought Andrew Tate this morning. Got absolutely fed. I mean, it was barely a fight, but I was just sort of surprised at what's he done? He fought who's KSI's brother?
Deji.
Yeah, he fought Deji the other day. Since he's left Australia, I mean, the most famous person I saw trying to fight him in Australia was Adam Sullivan from EBT. And I know he's done a kickboxing fight before, so I feel like he'd be able to lay this dude out. Maybe not as bad as
concept as well. It's just so it's so good, and it just
it is like, it's good if it's a joke, but it's another one of those influencers that's just very degen, which is all great to laugh at as like a 30-year-old who has just got that stuff out of his system, but again, he has just sort of defaulted to pushing gambling, which for someone who built their following on just fighting random followers, like I don't expect him to.
Oh, is he pushing
what
gambling?
do I expect him to do? But yeah, it is just someone else that's getting people G'd up to online gamble. I'm like, come on, man! Like, couldn't we have sold merch? Fucking. This is a talking point. I know we had other things to talk about in the intro. I want to talk about music recommendations in a second, but I just want to double down on but. The gambling companies have such an advantage. Like, everyone else is trying to manage like a profit margin. They're like, how much can I pay this influencer? How many units of protein powder or fucking whatever can I sell based on their shout out? The amount of money that gambling companies can offer you, because it's like, if they even just get one client out of you, if you're an influential person, average gambling losses per person, once you get them hooked, are so fucking high. I've discussed on the show gambling casinos and shit. They hit me up all the time. They're like, we want to sponsor the podcast. We want you posting reels and doing group posts for us. Tell us how much you want. And I never reply to them. I just fucking block them, or I just sort of leave them on red. But I got back to one the other day. I was just like, it'd have to be $10,000 a fucking post, because this would be so fucking damaging to my brand. We are so not aligned. I'm the opposite of everything you guys claim to be about. Just like, get away from me. And they were just like, yeah, just show us your story views, and yeah, we'd be happy to do $10,000 per post if it's the right. I'm like, it's just because, like I said, it's just they just need a bit of exposure. Like, it's just fucking Eric Bugenhagen, fucking Nathan Florence, so many cunts I like who claim to be wholesome people, who I think are wholesome people, have just like fallen into the promoting gambling trap, and it fucking pisses me off. Because it is a very Australian problem, but it's starting to spread more around the world as online gambling becomes more prevalent. For international listeners who aren't aware, Australia has had some of the most lax gambling laws internationally for decades, but as well, just like culturally, average household gambling losses per annum in Australia are close to $1,000. We're currently world leaders. I wouldn't be shocked if that changes quite fast. Like I said, now that we have countries like America getting more into the online casinos and things like that. But yeah, it's sad, and it really does affect people. Like, I don't know, like it's something that I'm oblivious to, not oblivious to, I'm here talking about it, but it's like, I didn't see it growing up, but like, I know for sure that I would have went to school just statistically with people who maybe like couldn't have tasty dinners because their dad gambled too much on the footy and shit. Or like, yeah, I know people whose parents were in my sporting teams where like they lost the house due to gambling, and like, it's just, there's going to be more and more and more of that shit because cost of living is going up, house prices are going up, and the amount that cunts are gambling is going up, and the friction for young people, especially to get hooked on gambling.
When you have Drake,
I remember back in the day, I
fun.
remember I used to be way more excited about the idea of gambling back when I was a broke cunt. Like I'm not a rich man or anything like that, but I just think it's so much harder the broker you are to have a productive relationship with gambling, because that is that hope deep down. Like none of them would probably admit it, but it's just like deep down, you're like, oh, maybe I could just hit it big on a slap or something like that. And it's just like, you can't be gambling like that. Because I remember I just having those thoughts occasionally when I was broke, and just like, yeah, thankfully, like never developed a gambling habit or anything like that. But yeah. Whereas nowadays, like the only thing that G's me up to gamble would be like to enjoy a sporting event more. Like, and it'd just be because people around me have had a slap on it, or maybe we're playing 2-up on Anzac Day or something like that. But there's no thought of like, oh, this could be financially significant. Like, and I'm so grateful for that. But then, yeah, just thinking about how vulnerable a lot of people are who are just being straight up preyed upon at the moment. So yeah, just we should be judging these influencers. I'm not saying you have to fucking stop watching their content or something like that, but if someone who you look up to is promoting gambling, make a comment on their post and tell them that you don't like that they're pushing gambling to their followers. It's okay to say that. You're not canceling them. They'll be fine. Just remind them that you're a real person and that this stuff has actual effects on people.
Do you know what's an even bigger trend than online casinos? It's this new emergence of retired footy players or people that had a failed business doing these decentralized lotteries on Instagram.
Yep. Yeah, that's classic. That's just another form of gambling.
Yeah, that's growing everywhere. Like, and the prize monies are crazy. And like everyone that has a somewhat not successful business is quickly switching to this. It's like the easiest way to just gain money. There's like, Barry Hall, one of the retired AFL players, and like 4 or 5 NRL players that are retired are doing it. Like that's everyone's end game, is just to do a lottery company. It's crazy.
Like as someone who runs a business, I'm always thinking about marketing and how I can convince people to use my product, because then if I can convince them to use my product or services, they'll have a good experience with it and then they'll become a repeat customer. But just like gambling is one of the few things where they can just mention it exists and then in the next sentence be like, oh, but don't buy it, it'll ruin your life, and still just successfully sell the fuck out of it. Like, how cigarettes, they come with labels being like, this fucking kills you, and can't still buy it. It's like, because they are that fucking addictive. Gambling's the same thing where they're like, oh, like, you could use this casino and like, yeah, you get like some bonus bets and stuff, but don't do it. Statistically, it ruins so many people's lives. Like they're only just, relaxing laws on this stuff because it is so fucking dangerous, and people are just chomping at the bit.
Do you know what as well? Gambling.
One other thing as well, because a lot of these cunts are like, society's going to shit. Oh, you got to stop jacking off. OnlyFans girls are a fucking problem. And then in the next breath, they're trying to get you to fucking shove 1 million zins in your cheek and gamble your wage away. I'm like, guys, jacking off isn't the problem. I don't think that's fucking up young men. I think it's being an incel, looking up to the wrong cunts and just gambling away the small amount of, income, discretionary spending that you can at the fucking online cast. If you want to learn more about the general physical preparation training philosophy, we put together an extremely practical course covering all the different aspects of physical preparation, as well as a unit on programming, so you know how to tie it all together and produce the same world-class results that we get with our athletes. We've got pre-recorded lectures, a community page where you can ask questions and interact with the other GPP coaches, as well as monthly calls where you can ask questions live or just catch up and hang out with us. Check out the link in the show notes for more info. Anyway, back to the show.
I mean, I probably don't think about this as much as I should, but I think in particular, it's pretty crazy in New South Wales because you can't go into a pub without there being pokies there. And you can't go into a pub without, and like, I don't go to the pokies really, but like, they're pretty much always busy. Like, there are pretty much always people in there feeding them. And like, I think it's that kind of thing. I think it's the undercurrent gambling. Like, it's all well and good, the online casinos being like, you know, seeing adverts for them and seeing adverts for the lotteries and that, but it's happening fucking everywhere. Like, if you can see a pub, there are people in there down the locals slapping their income away.
But now it's
like,
following you home. Same was like online bullying, like became a thing when social media became a thing. It used to just be like, well, you'll get bullied at school, but you're safe at home. And now with gambling, it's just like, well, you gamble all your money away at the pub, but at least the pub's not 24 hours. I mean, we have had 24-hour pokie dens in this country at a time. I think they're banned now, thank Christ. But yeah, now it's just like, no, you can pull your phone out on the way home from the pub and play fucking Plinko ball. Fucking heavy.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I wonder if this will change as time goes on, if it will become like a more prevalent part of the conversation. But like, and again, I don't know the science of it, whatever, but I can fairly confidently say that like alcoholism has a history in my family, you know, like runs quite fucking deep. And whether it's nature versus nurture, whether it's genetic, whether it's learned behavior, who fucking knows? I don't really have the place to say, but like, I wonder if this is going to be the kind of thing that like, I don't know, in fucking 30, 40 years, like, are we talking about gambling in the same way? And I kind of hope we are. I hope it's part of the conversation. I hope it's not just like this thing that we can advertise and be all right with, but like, yeah, you know, in the same way, there's so many laws about how you advertise drinking and that kind of thing. Like, and again, I think the laws need to be seriously looked at and seriously considered, but like,
I hate the way you can advertise it to underage kids through, like, because when you're watching the footy in Australia and free to air TV, they have all the sports bets ads on there.
So crazy.
I don't like it.
Speaking
We're
of
such a nanny state. Australia as well, like the world knows this is a nanny state where it's just like, you know, you can't go out late. We restrict so many things about it. And I love this country for so many reasons, but one of the things I fucking hate about it, it's a complete nanny state up until the point where you want to gamble your livelihood away. Like, oh no, that's super chill. Man. Oh hell yeah, yeah, gamble.
Yeah,
go for it.
It's crazy. I say it all the time. If someone was like, you know, what do you do and what's there to do in Melbourne, or like what's the entertainment like in Brisbane or whatever, and the amount of times I'm like, if you're talking about Sydney, I'm like, do you like gambling? You'll probably love Sydney then. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's fucking 2 huge casinos, like not far from each other. There's pokies fucking everywhere. Like, they're constantly, it's sport and gambling is what Sydney has to like offer, if you will. Like, as their big fucking attractions.
One of the happiest and saddest gambling stories I can tell you guys is when Izzy versus DDP for the middleweight belt. And 30 seconds before DDP got the finish, everyone was like, it looks like Izzy's on the comeback. Like, he's got momentum. And I was just like, nah, like, I've seen DDP like this before. Like, he's fine. Izzy is absolutely gas. Pub was going crazy. I tapped my mate. I was like, can you just put a live bet on for me, $50 on DDP by finish? And the pub was exploding, making so much noise that my mate communicated the live bet. He used the phonetic alphabet like he was calling in a fucking airstrike. And I was just like, this is like, I ended up fucking winning like $400. But just seeing my mate do that, I'm like, he is way too good at this live gambling thing. Like, fuck
yeah, it's crazy. Just quickly.
Can't engage with this. Yeah.
And do you know, one quick fun fact, not so fun, pretty sad. Sportsbet in their, I think it's like, 20 something years of their company being around, have only had 3 red days in their whole entirety of their business. 3 red days. It was Jesus. One early payout for a horse. One early payout for a horse I think that when the Broncos won an early payout, they had to do an early payout and then something else. But 3 red days.
Must have been such interesting sporting circumstances that led up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, while we're on the interesting gambling stats thing, did you know that New South Wales has more slot machines than Nevada?
It's crazy. Because like I've heard
Like,
this
it's
stat
fucking
before,
mental.
but I guess because it's spread out. Whereas there's like in Vegas, yes, there's this really dense spot. Like they're even at the airport. But or actually, could you have a slap at Sydney Airport? Obviously on your phone. Are there pokies in our airports?
Maybe. Again, like it's the kind of thing I don't go, but I also don't go to the is there a smoking section once you're through security? Because there's probably pokies in there if there is.
Nah, I don't know. I've never been in those because I've been in most of the bars
Where
in
they add
Sydney
gyms
domestic
to
and
airports?
international. I don't think so.
That'd be a good idea.
Dude, fuck your smoking section, fuck your pokies, and fuck your gym. I just want like good shopping opportunities and like,
What?
you know, good
The flight's
food.
delayed.
Yeah.
You hit a quick lift. How productive.
Give me a fucking bed. Just give me a bed as well.
Fair.
Yeah, give me a
Addicted to
shower.
being horizontal anywhere, anytime I'm close to being on a plane. Please. The GPP group program is the best deal in strength and conditioning. For less than $1 a day, you get access to my programming as well as access to me through a group chat where you can reach out, ask questions, or have a form check. You can even get a week for free before you commit to it. Check out the show notes for more info. Let me see if there's any new tracks I've been listening to. Oh, my fucking AI DJ. Sorry if you heard that. Been smashing a bit of Death Grips. I spoke about Brian
Hell
Adams.
yes.
It's mostly just Run to You. It's not any other Brian Adams track. It's just Run to You on repeat.
It's the way it should be.
A lot more Rihanna as far as like the pop music that I'm crushing at the moment. I mean, Rihanna's always in rotation. She's in heavy rotation at the
Fucking
moment.
yeah, she is.
Normally you can get a vibe to like what I'm listening to privately if you just follow me on Instagram and like the songs that I'm using in my carousel posts or in my reels or on my stories. But Rihanna's music, a majority of her great tracks aren't actually available. She doesn't make it accessible for you to use them on social media, which I respect. Get it, girl. Or like she just doesn't need the bag from that. I don't really know how it works.
I've been smashing a lot of UB40, if anyone knows.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, smashing it.
It's like old school Aussie band, right?
Is it Aussie?
Harvey?
That's a good question. I actually don't
I
know.
thought they were
What does
Australian.
Google say?
A bit of Prince. Mum's a big fan.
Fuck
Nice.
yes. No, they're English.
Okay.
Not Prince
what else?
UB40.
Sorry, I'm just scanning through my on repeat as well. Still, like Blue Planet Eyes by The Preachers is getting a workout still, like the whole fucking album, if I'm honest.
Hell fucking yeah.
Bobby
We got to
Caldwell?
get tickets to that show.
Oh, actually, Harvey. God, I can't believe I'm breaking into this to you live on the podcast. What are you doing December 3rd? I mean, sorry, let me cut you off there. Let me tell you what you're doing. We're heading to Justice, December 3rd, Kudos Bank Arena.
I currently don't have anything booked in. However, my cousin
Block it
gets
out.
married in Glasgow late
Fuck your
November.
cousin. No, fair.
So that's such a
Fair
red
play.
hot thing to say to someone.
Sorry, you know what I meant.
But we'll see because I'm going to see Lady Gaga on the 13th of December. So I'll have to be back for like
You're
early-ish
skip
anyway.
the wedding for that. Yeah. That's an
Dude, I'm not missing Gaga.
insane run doing Justice and Lady Gaga. Is Lady Gaga in the stadium or
Yeah. It's in. I always get the two
are you
stadiums mixed
dressing
up.
up
But
as
one
a
of
little
them.
monster? Please.
Am I
Come on,
fucking
please.
no. I'll be
Come on,
fresh
paint
off the
your-
plane.
paint
I'm not
your
going to
face
have time to dress
green.
up.
Do your hair into little antennas. I know.
Oh
you're doing
God, imagine. Fucking imagine. I would hate that. I would literally hate it.
Anyway, on to push pull run. I was really happy with how I did in push pull run, 4 kilos heavier, and I lost 25 seconds on my mile time. So PB mile is 5:25 at push pull run, ran a 5:58. Let me give you my excuses, as is what I normal behavior from me. I didn't do any running in the prep. Oh, no, I kept up my acceleration work and stuff like that, but I wasn't cranking out any mileage. Just hoped fitness from surfing would carry me. And I honestly think it did. I think when you factor in the weight gain, if I went as hard as I did on previous mile attempts, because I just didn't go as hard as last time because I knew who I needed and wanted to beat, and I just hung on James George's heels and then just broke him in the middle of the third lap, as was planned. And then once I put enough of a gap in, I was like, sweet. But just like having fucking James Cannulli last time, and I don't know who was out running hard in the first one. Maybe it was just me. And adrenaline, but like the pace of the first couple of laps was just so much more insane in previous push pull runs. So didn't have as many of fast rabbits to chase. But yeah, like I said, still my time is my time. Said I'll kill myself if I ran over 6 minutes. Glad I managed to pull it into 5:58, so I didn't have to go home and finish myself off, which would have been a shame because I was honestly so stoked with the lifting performance. So 105 kilo bench with a pause on IPF spec equipment. So that's a PB in IPF circumstances. I think it's like at least, I benched 100 in my first push pull run, but that's been down. In my powerlifting comp and my previous push pull run, benched well under that. Bench was in the fucking toilet. So we're back there, pulled 232.5 kilos on a stiffy, probably like the lowest RPE out of any of my push pull run final attempts. So yeah, I wonder where I would have topped out at if I did have a fourth attempt. I think I could have got 240 on the stiffy. But anyway, back to fuck benching now and fuck deadlifting. I mean, this benching is still in the program, but just not going as hard in a powerlifter sense, but just going full tilt on trying to get this 140 kilo clean before I head to New Zealand.
Hell yeah.
Should I go into other training updates as well? Actually, yeah, let me just carry on and talk about some other training updates. I'm back in the fucking pool. My mate, Callum Burns, I've spoken about him on the podcast before, my primary surfing partner, also my primary guy for going on surf trips because he's just great. Whenever you need someone to go on a surf trip, if it's in school holidays, Burns is fucking keen. He's lost 10 kegs recently just from eating. He just took it upon himself. I didn't have anything to do with it. But that's been awesome to see. But obviously he's been feeling way fitter in the ocean, downsizing his wardrobe, downsizing his wetsuits, downsizing his surfboards to lower literage. But we've just been talking about the difference between us and like Nathan Florence, like just guys who just go out in any conditions. They can just paddle themselves into any spot because I've just been humbled by the ocean lately. Like I'm in good shape. I can go out in pretty much any seas and live, but can I thrive? No. And that's what I want to be doing. I want to be out there like fucking Aquaman. And the way to do that would be to surf 2 times every day or to surf at least every single day. But I'm a bit of a snob. Sometimes when the conditions are shit, I don't go out. So now me and Burnsy are hitting the pool 2 times a week, just getting those reps in. It's taken the advice that I give to so many other surfers. They're like, I just want to feel stronger out in the surf, get my wave count up. I'm like, well, hit the fucking pool and rack up some miles. So going for my second swim of the week this afternoon. First swim, we're in a short course pool, just knocked out a casual 800 meters, multi-stroke, did every fucking... I didn't do backstroke actually. Did a couple of 50...
Breaststroke?
Did breaststroke, did some 25-meter efforts of butterfly. And so Burnsy swam squads growing up. Burnsy was better than me. But then he hasn't trained like a semi-professional athlete for most of his adult life like I have. So I've sort of caught up to him a little bit. Burnsy swam a short course, like 34, probably 33 second. I think he had a bit more in the tank as well. Then I dropped a 30-second short course 50. We're going in the long course 50-meter pool today. So I don't know if we're going to do max out sprints, but my goal is at some point, maybe, I don't know if I'll have time to squeeze it in before New Zealand because I don't want to just absolutely shag myself in the pool. I'm just meant to be taking it easy. But at some point this year, I want to see where I can get my 50-meter time. Because my all-time PB is 29 seconds at the peak of my swimming. Swimming like 4 times a week in my teens, racking up some serious mileage. But I've just so much more of a physical specimen these days.
We absolutely love doing this show. And one of the most exciting things for us is watching it grow because it means we can commit more time to it, as well as have access to better guests to bring you even more quality content. One of the most impactful ways you can help us grow the show is by shouting it out, screenshotting this episode, and sharing it on your stories to let people know that you're listening. Don't underestimate how influential you can be on.
Is that one end of the pool to the other?
Yes. So your standard Olympic pool is 50 meters. Short course is half that. So in the US, they do 25 yards for short course. So all college swimming is short course. So I hate short course swimming. It's a fucking joke. Like, because this is, you get two pushes off the wall, which is just so fucking OP. So you swim like 3 fucking strokes per lap in short course if you're a weapon. I'm doing more strokes than that, but it's significantly less strokes than that long course. Not hating on short course, you know. Oh, sorry, I am. What am I saying? You still get beasts doing short course, but I don't think it's a good representation of swimming ability. You're just seeing good push off the wall ability and good diving ability.
I got to get into swimming. Actually, it's one of my favorite forms of cardio. I used to back in the day, but yeah.
What's your PB 53?
No idea. I did it all the way up to 12
Fucking
years
casual.
old. Yeah, big casual. From like 5 to 12. But I still got it.
Blows my mind when you talk about sport with any cunt and you ask them a PB and they're like, I couldn't tell you. I'm like, what the fuck were you doing?
I was doing it when I was 12,
No,
man.
I'm an idiot.
No.
Apparently too obsessed with PBs.
No, it's a good point you make, but I wasn't that driven back then. So yeah, I'll probably
Because
go
you
back
weren't measuring progress. No wonder. Sorry. Fucking going on a tirade. What else was I going to say about swimming? James Magnussen, the missile, prepping for the enhanced games. I think he overdid the steroids. Oh, sorry, not just. I mean, he's a specimen. I wouldn't be surprised if he just sniffed a vial of testosterone and put on a serious amount of muscle. Like someone who's not just an Olympic level athlete, an elite specimen, even amongst Olympic swimmers. The photos are circulating of James Magnussen looking absolutely fucking stacked. I don't know what his body. Did someone say he's like 120 kegs or something? I'm not actually sure what his body weight is.
Does more lean mass equal better swimming?
You don't get punished for being heavy in the pool the way you do in the normal atmosphere that we live in. I still think that he overshot the amount of muscle you need, though. I wonder, it's got to be impacting his stroke a little bit. But then again, that it might be an acceptable trade-off with the increased force production and water displacement and things like that. The thing that's adding noise to it, not even in a bad way, because who's to say what's equal and fair competition when you're allowing people performance-enhancing drugs, but they're also wearing the super suits. And so, again, this has been a running theme on the show where I constantly question how good performance-enhancing drugs are, particularly the more anabolic agents, at improving sports performance. And I know they help. But again, I think that steroids are really good for putting on muscle. And I think that I'm unsure about how effective they are for just improving raw athleticism or actual sports performance. And so, because there's another Brazilian guy who is doing the whole enhanced games things, and he's broken the 50-meter world record. Well, sorry, no. He's swum faster than the 50-meter world record that happens in drug-tested circumstances. I believe the current standing world record, even though the suits are banned, was set with one of those super swimsuits that ended up getting banned. So swimming records are in an odd place where people are kind of playing catch-up based on the equipment. But yeah, he broke the world record by a very small margin. And I'm like, it was probably the suit more than the gear. And that's what I'm saying. I think you can let people take essentially untapped amounts of performance enhancing drugs. And I still think it doesn't help you as much as just wearing a more buoyant illegal swimsuit.
I thought everyone was going to EPO.
I'm disappointed at just from eyeballing it. I feel like they've been doing a lot more anadrol, like those sorts of, not necessarily your EPOs and your. But okay, so this is an interesting thing. I agree, Jacob. This is a point that I've made, right? Like, I want to see him do an EPO because I think that could give you a huge advantage in the total amount of work you can do, and maybe a good recovery agent. Having said that, a lot of the things I hear about EPO users, like, it does sound like one of the least safe the most dangerous performance enhancing drugs. Because again, you are just thickening up the hell out of your blood. Like, I remember hearing stories of Tour de France athletes having to wake up in the middle of the night and like ride the bike to try to stop their blood from congealing and turning into fucking sludge due to an extremely high artificially jacked up red blood cell count. If anyone really knows their performance enhancing drugs, am I talking out my ass here? Feel free to fact check me and we'll share your notes on the show if you actually know what you're talking about. But I'm not pretty certain, but I think I'm like right in saying this. Because a big part of what they're trying to do with the enhanced games is show you how safe it can be. Like, see, like PEDs, they're not super unsafe. Look at all these people. Their health is being monitored. Anything they're taking has been prescribed by a doctor. So maybe some of the anabolic agents that I sort of threw out there before are actually off the table. But I wonder if that's one of the things that's been pushed off the table due to safety concerns. They don't want to, they don't want an enhanced games athlete having a fucking heart attack or a stroke or something like that. Because as fucking Tom, what's his last name? Tom Coulson. He was the one down at Melbourne Strength Culture who cracked it. They were talking about him on their potty last week. He was saying that he went down the enhanced games funnel, like clicking all their links in their videos and stuff like that. He was like, what are they trying to do with this whole thing? I'm pretty sure they're just starting a huge TRT clinic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that the whole... Fucking
I think that's the whole thing. Yeah.
Isn't James Smith doing that too? Or something?
Yeah. Shout out to him. Fucking just been on TRT for a month and he's fucking flogging it. I mean, seems like he's having a good experience on it.
Share his love for it for everyone else. That's a good way to promote a TRT clinic.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
do you guys want to do TRT?
It's like Red Bull taking like everyone doing crazy shit just for an energy drink.
Yeah.
That's the marketing.
Actually, yeah. Harvey, I'm curious. What are your general thoughts on TRT? Do you have a perspective on it? Because so just context for everyone listening. I mean, we all know that Harvey doesn't lift as it currently stands, but his mum is a doctor. So I feel like that gives him a perspective as well.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit like, which one's TRT again? Is that testosterone replacement therapy?
So it's male hormone replacement therapy. Because to my understanding, it's been not uncommon for females postmenopausal to receive some sort of like hormone replacement therapy, with mixed results. And now men are basically just doing testosterone. And so that's it. When you say TRT, like a new thing has emerged, what we call sports TRT, which is like doing a cycle, but kind of being apologetic about it. But when I say TRT, I really am talking about, used in a medical context when someone is not very high test or their test is dropped.
What did Christian Woodford say? He said he does TOT, testosterone optimization therapy.
I mean, he hasn't hit a PR in years, so fucking how optimized.
Yeah. I don't know. As far as my opinions on it go, I mean, first of all, we can discuss this we can discuss this later. I actually have been lifting very slightly the last few days. Anyway.
You got to come into Warehouse for a Zercher session part 2.
Oh my God. You should see the disgusting amount of like, I actually have several questions for you guys about the whole lifting side of things. But anyway, as far as like medical opinions on it go, I don't have that much other than like outside of like a medical, like being prescribed or whatever. I said, no, it's just kind of like one of those things again where it's like, it just won't actually help like that much.
No, like, I think if it's if you're using it appropriately, for someone who legitimately their testosterone is dropping off, depending on their goals and depending on their context, I think that there's absolutely reason for medical intervention in a decent amount of cases. It's just that like men, who have been exposed to fitness in any way are kind of just also looking for any excuse to run a cycle. So like there's always just this sort of aspect to it. But like I don't doubt that it's had dramatic impacts on a lot of people's quality of life.
100%. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just and again, I don't know, but what you were saying about it being based on like a similar a similar idea to like HRT, right? Which is what they do. Yeah. And like again, I don't know too much about it, but from what I have gathered, like opinions are extremely varied on HRT as far as like the medical field is concerned. From what I can gather anyway, like it's not as simple. Like a lot of people just don't really agree with it, I think, or think it's not actually a very good, like thing to do. So I'd be a bit skeptical of TRT purely based off that, in that like it's not like okay, you're going through menopause, you're having a tough time with it, go on HRT. That's like, it's not like the most run of the mill thing to prescribe. It's like, I think, like very much mixed reviews on it. So anything like that, I'd be a bit like,
I also think
kind of
we have to consider societal attitudes towards injecting testosterone, which like, it is quite a image in your head of like this gnarly bodybuilder thing. But then it's like, no, like there is like I said, an actual medical sort of use case. But yeah, just due to like public attitudes just being a certain way, that anyone injecting hormones or any male injecting hormones is kind of just doing it to scam people on social media or win a bodybuilding show or cheat in a sporting event. Sort of talking about just my own sort of stereotypes about it, changing that. This has been a great chat. I'm actually in a Zoom consult right now. So I'll have to love yous and leave yous. That's to people listening, and Harvey and Jacob across from me now. But I will see you cunts. I'll talk to you cunts in a few hours, and we'll wrap up this conversation. But everyone listening on the podcast, I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening.